Tonight, coughing up the cash, the disgusting acts inflicted on our frontline workers that's forced the government to act. They're hefty fines and they start now. Gold Coast beaches are back. The council gives the go-ahead to reopen the Spit and all closed-off car parks. The government's Corona app tracking along better than expected as almost 2 million Australians sign up. The ban breach that's landed 2 NRL stars in the sin bin, and a truck driver fronts court for the first time, charged over the horror crash that claimed 4 police officers' lives.
This is 10 News First Queensland with Georgina Lewis.
Good evening. We begin tonight with the major crackdown to curb abuse. People who deliberately cough, sneeze or spit on frontline workers will now face huge on-the-spot fines. The drastic step is designed to protect those Queenslanders just trying to do their job.
A female police officer in the firing line. Deliberately targeted in what's become a disturbing trend.
Disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting to think that some people are putting other people's lives at risk.
And more recently, supermarket staff simply doing their job.
I need everyone to back off right now. Stop. No. Hold on. Take it away from there.
Copping abuse from customers, taking out their frustrations.
Call the police. I'm calling the police.
There's a lot of extra pressures that are placed on people, financial pressures. It can be the smallest little trigger that sets someone off, which leads to some form of action.
Now anyone who deliberately coughs, sneezes or spits on an essential worker faces an on-the-spot fine of $1,300, up to $13,000 if it goes to court.
During a pandemic, a cough can be used as a weapon. A sneeze can be as dangerous as a knife. Spitting is, of course, always disgusting.
The penalties are designed to protect healthcare workers and emergency services, as well as those in retail and food delivery. It also covers public transport operators, taxi and rideshare drivers, council and airport workers and all school staff.
And it's so important that we do protect our workers who do still need to be out there interacting with the public.
Over the weekend, police dished out another 114 fines to people breaching quarantine or social distancing rules. Some caught out hosting large parties in their house or street.
That's really not acceptable. Now is not the time to undo all the good work that has been done.
Because the good work is paying off. Queensland recorded just another 3 cases overnight. Claire Barnes for 10 News First.
The easing of restrictions means the last closed beach on the Gold Coast will be reopened tonight. But it comes with a warning to out-of-towners: stay away or they could be shut down again.
All weekend long, you would have been hard-pressed to know there were restrictions on going to the beach. Up and down the Gold Coast, hundreds lapped up the perfect weather.
It's not as if we want to break the rules or anything. We just bend them a little.
Despite the turnout, Mayor Tom Tate believes the city has done its part to flatten the curve. So tonight, the final closed beach will reopen.
We've gone past Easter, past couple of weeks, and we turned back 15,000 people over that period, so it has worked.
The Spit was one of 3 beaches closed earlier this month after people ignored the warnings to stay away. Barricades came down from Surfers Paradise and Coolangatta last week. At midnight tonight, SeaWorld Drive will reopen to the public.
No, it's good news. I mean, I was surprised. I thought it was going to be next week. So, I don't know. If the numbers are okay, should be fine.
Council also started reopening more than 6,000 oceanside car parks from today, with all to be accessible by the end of the week.
They would have done the research and they would have deemed that it's safe. So I have faith in the government or whoever's orchestrating that they would have done the right thing.
Even though all beaches will be open, the Mayor has urged out-of-towners to abide the 50-kilometre driving rule and stay away and leave the open space for locals only. If people don't social distance or overwhelm the beaches once more, there could be more closures.
Yeah, I think as long as we still take it seriously, it's okay. I think it's good that we can do some stuff.
Flags will remain down to discourage swimming and sunbaking. Matthew Howard for 10 News First.
It's taken only 24 hours for almost 1.9 million Australians to download the government's new COVID-19 tracing app. But there's one promise the government is yet to deliver on, and it has tech industry leaders concerned.
It took just 5 hours for the government to smash its 5-day target, with more than 1 million people last night rushing to download its COVIDSafe app.
Well ahead of our best hopes and expectations already.
But with a 40% uptake rate required, political leaders are pushing for millions more to get on board.
I have signed up this morning. It takes about 2 minutes.
There's still lingering privacy concerns, with the promised protections yet to be enshrined in law.
I don't want them tracking me. I don't trust the government.
The data, we have locked this down so completely, so thoroughly.
Cyber experts are still calling for more transparency.
The Android version of this app currently accesses a thing called the Location Services API. It's not clear to us what it's doing because we can't have access to the source code.
It's like lifting the bonnet on a car and seeing all the components and how they work together. You can actually examine it to see what it does.
More than 80 industry leaders have signed an open letter telling the government secrecy in the time of COVID-19 is not a recipe for public trust. Trust requires transparency.
I personally am not going to download it yet myself.
Despite assurances by multiple ministers, the government is yet to reveal the all-important source code, now saying it'll be made public in 2 weeks.
We will be releasing the source code for everything that is safe to do so, and that's currently being assessed by the Australian Cybersecurity Centre. And as soon as they've done that assessment, we will make that source code available.
All the most secure software in the world has its code base open and available for anyone to see. The concept is, if you've got nothing to fear, you've got nothing to hide.
It's about helping our public health officials do their job, and that's all it is. And it is a no-risk, highly secure, very safe app.
Mark those words. Tegan George for 10 News First.
NRL stars Latrell Mitchell and Josh Addo-Carr have issued an apology after a boys' weekend broke social distancing rules. They were part of a group of 10 on a camping trip they say was to help some mates going through a tough time.
Do not leave your house unless working or exercising. Do not visit your holiday home or someone else's. And always try to stand 1.5 metres apart. It was the boys' weekend that's breached COVID-19 rules and landed Latrell Mitchell and Josh Addo-Carr in a lot of trouble.
Firstly, I just want to apologise on my actions this weekend.
I'm really sorry from the bottom of my heart.
The pair say it was a cultural trip to help some of their relatives reconnect with the bush.
I wasn't here to break any rules or just hurt anyone. We're not being selfish. Look, I couldn't turn down the brothers, in a time of need, so.
But it's a bad look for the NRL as it tries to negotiate exemptions to restart the game.
We'll be seeking an explanation, but on the surface of it, it is disappointing.
Along with Newcastle fullback Tyrone Roberts-Davis, they've now been fined $1,000 by police, while Addo-Carr is facing a firearms investigation.
The matter will be investigated. What action is taken will obviously fall out of that investigation.
But they weren't the only ones bucking the rules over the weekend. Beaches were packed.
I want to go for a swim. If everybody wants to go for a swim, I think there's plenty of space.
Yeah, there's way too many people here.
Prompting a plea from the Premier.
It doesn't matter where you go, even if you're buying a loaf of bread, if there's too many people in the store, that's not acceptable.
In New South Wales yesterday, 4,418 people were tested, finding only 2 new cases. But they've identified new hotspots where they want increased testing, including Lithgow, the Blue Mountains, Hornsby, Lane Cove and the Northern Beaches.
As the states consider restrictions, as we consider what May and June look like, we must rely on extra testing. We must rely on people coming forward and getting tested, even if you have the mildest symptoms.
But it is an argument that's tough to take, with other states, including our northern neighbours, starting to relax some of their restrictions.
It's really good to know what the government's plan is.
I think.
But I hope it will be not longer than 1 week to have some kind of reduction.
For Clubs New South Wales, they say it's not a question of want, but need. Warning unless restrictions on clubs are eased soon, up to 40% won't survive.
$212 million per month is what clubs are losing. And so we're worried that clubs are going to close and close permanently because of this crisis.
They'll this week deliver a plan to the Premier promising to implement extreme social distancing, including temperature checks or only operating every second pokey if they can reopen.
The idea is the club would be accessible but safe.
A delicate balancing act as we try to move forward. Ursula Hager for 10 News First.
Bank stocks have slumped on the stock exchange after the NAB delivered a grim economic assessment. It's now looking for billions in new investment to weather the coming storm. Here's National Affairs Editor Hugh Remington.
No real surprise as people tumble out of work and businesses are forced to adapt or die, the tide has started running on the banks. The first to put numbers to it is the NAB.
We've had well over 650,000 inquiries for assistance from both business and individual customers, and it's happened so quickly.
The NAB's half-year cash earnings have dropped more than 50%, falling below $1.5 billion, as the bank sets aside $1.2 billion in readiness for future losses. In a blow to millions of small shareholders, the interim dividend has been cut nearly 2/3 to 30 cents a share.
Working together, we will get to the other side of it.
The NAB's new goal, finding investors willing to stump up $3.5 billion to stiffen the books with a share offering at a sharp discount to Friday's closing price.
We have decided to take very proactive steps today in raising capital.
NAB shares were put into a trading halt ahead of this announcement, but the other major bank shares were all fully exposed as the market opened, and investors didn't like it. Shares in the other three major banks were all sharply lower in early trade. With market expectations of $100 billion federal deficits for the next couple of years, the big banks are placing bets on the impacts of COVID-19. The NAB expecting unemployment at nearly 12% by September, with bad debts piling up as businesses crash and people default on their credit cards, personal loans and mortgages. Other banks will follow as the NAB right now bunkers down.
What we want to make sure is that this bank is in great condition, both for today and in the future, so that we come out of this crisis in a very strong position.
All of us are hoping for that. Hugh Remington for 10 News First.
The truck driver involved in Victoria's police tragedy has faced court for the first time, charged over the deaths of the 4 officers. His lawyer told the hearing the father is deeply saddened by the tragedy and is suffering panic attacks and anxiety.
After 5 nights in hospital, Mohinder Singh Bajwa, the truck driver accused of mowing down 4 police officers last week, was charged this morning. He's facing 4 counts of culpable driving causing death. The filing hearing was short and the truckie hung his head for its duration. His lawyer didn't respond to questions afterwards. But he did have a special message for the magistrate. The court was told the truck driver is distressed and has been suffering from anxiety and having panic attacks since the smash. His lawyer also requested that his client be assessed for a possible undiagnosed psychiatric condition while he's in custody. Prosecutors asked for extra time to prepare their brief of evidence because they're reconstructing the crash scene and waiting for forensic test results to return from overseas. Their investigation is far from over. Just this morning, police searched properties linked to the trucking company Connect Logistics.
This morning, our MCRU and our heavy vehicle unit have executed 2 search warrants at addresses in Croydon and Frankston.
She says condolence messages continue to pour in for Senior Constable Kevin King, Constable Glenn Humphreys, Leading Senior Constable Lynette Taylor and Constable Joshua Presney.
Thank you to everyone who's assisted us, again, lighting up the blue for us. It's actually quite overwhelming for us and our membership, but thank you, thank you, thank you.
Mohinder Singh Bajwa will return to court in October. Candice Wyatt for 10 News First.
Now to some extraordinary vision of a ferocious house fire at Logan. A 75-year-old couple and two others were sitting down to dinner around 7 o'clock last night when their home started burning around them. Brave neighbours who saw the inferno ran to help fighting flames before crews arrived.
Really intense, the heat. It was, but the bits of the roof were caving in at that point as well, so it was pretty dramatic. But yeah, it was pretty freaky for sure.
Thankfully, everyone made it out alive, but the home, which is insured, was destroyed. Investigations are underway into the cause. A Lockyer Valley man sentenced to life in prison for stabbing a German backpacker to death in a road rage attack has had his conviction quashed. Georgina Hill joins us now. Georgie, what did the appeals court find?
Georgie, it all came down to an error in a document that was handed to the jury. Jamie Douglas Saxon was found guilty of murder in October after fatally stabbing German backpacker Dominic Schultz 2 years earlier. Schultz, who had been here on a working holiday, had been out drinking with a mate when the pair of them stumbled onto Milton Road in the early hours of the morning, and Schultz pulled down his pants while he was skylarking in the middle of the road. He was clipped by Saxon's car that was being driven by Saxon's girlfriend at the time. The pair pulled over and Schultz initially wasn't injured by the car, but that is when a fight broke out between the men. The court heard that Saxon had gone around to the back of his car, originally telling police that he had been terrified. He got out a fishing knife and he stabbed Schultz 4 times. But today, the Court of Appeal heard that the jury had been misdirected during the trial after being given a document that wrongly set out the laws, surrounding self-defence. Saxon's conviction was quashed, and Georgie, a retrial will now be set down at a later date.
The lives of homeless Queenslanders for the better. Also, the cowardly attack on a man and his mate set upon while out for a walk. Plus, the generous donation to keep our masked crusaders safe on the corona front line. And in sport, exclusive details on how the Warriors plan to return to Australia.
It's MasterChef.
This is next level.
Like you've never seen before.
You are cooking live.
Let the Hunger Games begin.
The pressure is on big time.
Wow.
It's delicious.
Love it.
It is unbelievable.
Who will make?
I love that.
The ultimate crowd pleaser.
This is the kind of cooking I could eat every day of my life and just die super happy.
The MasterChef live event, 7:30 tonight.
Keep running, training, walking, keep working. The Athlete's Foot gives a fit about helping you stay you safely. Find your perfect fit from our range of brands at theathletesfoot.com.au. The Athlete's Foot, here to give a fit.
There's nothing like a hot mug of Milo. Keeps you feeling all warm and snug. Yep, I could really go for a hot Milo now. Love it.
Let's do it, baby.
It's on, mate.
Get PointsBet's new racing form from RaceNet. PointsBet offers you won't believe, moments you'll never forget.
Australia's best-loved family is yours to own. The Sullivans, volumes 1 to 23 are now available.
This country is at war with Germany.
Start your collection of this iconic series now.
I wish there was some way of showing the boys what war is like without them having to suffer through it.
Purchase volume 22 of The Sullivans, and as a special offer, receive the final volume 23 free. Order now at crawfordsdvd.com.au or free call 1800 597 996.
The world's most exotic fragrances are made by nature. That's why we've created Botanica Fragrances, infused with natural ingredients that are responsibly sourced. Botanica by Airwick.
Hester is a super fund that supports people whose work helps others. Their stories inspire us to give them a stronger financial future and a better world to retire into. It's our way of saying thank you.
Give your home a refresh with the latest winter essentials from Maya. With 15% off the original price of appliances by Breville, Philips, Tefal, Panasonic and iRobot. And 30% off selected quilt covers, sheets and towels.
Maya, my store.
Has something been missing from your Monday nights?
What a pack of weirdos.
The new season returns next Monday.
Good afternoon. Well, the first day of the working week pretty much done and dusted now. The roads are doing okay. Plenty of traffic around the place, though. The run over the Pine River Bridge looking fairly good coming off the Gympie and Gateway arterials. A little bit slow on Gympie Road as you make your way up through Kedron and again through Aspley. A little bit of traffic heading up Bridgman Road through Bridgman Down. Certainly not too bad, though, heading up past the cemetery. And a good run on the Western Freeway tonight. No dramas back around Mount Cootha. Out past Moggle Road looking fairly tidy as well. No problems out towards Fig Tree Pocket. I'm Dave Andrews. Thanks to Auto Leaders and Georgie. I'll be back to check the roads again for you later in the bulletin.
We'll see you soon. Thanks, Dave. Now to the random attack that saw a man punched repeatedly and his pet dog kicked so hard it flew into the air. The alleged attacker faced court today where he claimed he'd only lashed out to stop the toy poodle from savaging him.
Aching and trembling, but back in the arms of his loving owner. 2-year-old Zico hasn't quite been the same since his nighttime walk exploded into violence.
He's normally very vibrant and, full of energy, but he's not so lately.
The toy poodle was strolling the streets of Pyrmont with Sung Kang when a man confronted them.
Go to war! Go to war! Warfare!
Ian Ryan, a father of 6-week-old twins, is accused of hurling drunken abuse.
Telling me to go back to my country, and it was basically wanting a fight, just lots of swear words and just very aggressive.
Sung says he tried to walk away, but that's when Mr. Ryan allegedly snapped, repeatedly punching him in the head, kicking little Zico into the air and forcing bystanders into action.
It's pretty reprehensible behaviour. There's no excuse, obviously, to attack an innocent man just out walking his dog.
Police believe it was unprovoked.
We can only draw upon the fact that he was in possession of alcohol at the time of the offence, and clearly there's no obvious motive.
Now facing charges, Mr. Ryan had his lawyer claim in court he was only defending himself after the dog barked near his legs. This ordeal might have shaken their confidence, but Sung says nothing will stop him and his best bud from getting out and about again when they can. He's now decided to forgive his alleged attacker, who's been refused bail. Michael Hammond for 10 News First.
The federal government's most accident-prone minister has more explaining to do. 10 News First can reveal Angus Taylor refused to be interviewed over dodgy documents despite publicly promising to cooperate with police.
Remember Angus Taylor?
There's ongoing police inquiries. I'm not going to make it. Good on you.
The hapless energy minister who used a forged document to try and attack Sydney City Council, forced to apologise for doing so.
I reject absolutely the suggestion that I or any members of my staff altered the documents in question.
He promised to fully cooperate with a police investigation into what happened.
I will always cooperate on matters of this sort. Of course I'll cooperate.
10 News First can exclusively reveal that rather than fully cooperating, when New South Wales Police tried to interview the minister as part of their investigation, the police were told to deal directly with Angus Taylor's lawyers, not the minister himself.
The government, of course, will cooperate fully with the New South Wales Police investigation.
In a written response to a New South Wales Parliamentary Estimates hearing, the New South Wales Police Commissioner confirmed, yes, police tried to interview Angus Taylor, but no, they were not able to do so, unable to access the minister directly. All requests with relevant questions were forwarded to Minister Taylor's solicitor. The minister was not interviewed. While the stench of Angus Taylor continues to dog the government, it certainly isn't hurting Scott Morrison's popularity. Today's news poll shows 68% of Australians are satisfied with the PM's performance, the highest since he took office. However, despite such strong personal support, the Coalition and Labor are locked at 50-50, according to the two-party vote. Perhaps a sign that while the PM is popular, the team around him is not. Peter Van Onselen for 10 News First.
The first of Brisbane's homeless to be provided government-funded accommodation have begun moving into a Toowong residential tower. The COVID-19 response is a homeless strategy experts have been pushing for years.
Social isolation is something homeless people already know all too well. But the coronavirus pandemic is forcing the state government to provide safe housing for those on the streets or in communal emergency accommodation.
To save people's lives, essentially, we had to think quickly to find a solution where people could be housed in self-contained units.
Efforts to house as many as 500 people across Brisbane are ongoing. A student accommodation tower in Toowong prepared as a new hub, with the first arrivals today.
The collaboration has been immense. We've had 4 weeks to pull this off.
Some nearby residents say they should have been consulted. Information circulated by the state government was followed by flyers from a community group raising concerns about the new Neighbours.
And I've read it and I'm appalled.
Maggie Death believes the majority will be more welcoming.
And those people really need to get out of the accommodation they're in because it's obviously completely unsuitable for them.
The emergency footing on which the government has been forced has seen a new level of spending on society's most vulnerable, provisions that arguably should have already been in place. Moves to accommodate our homeless have been pushed for by experts for years.
And let's take this optimistic response, let's take the evidence and integrate it and institutionalise it into our housing and homelessness service system moving forward.
Professor Parcell's research suggests it can actually be cheaper to provide a home for someone than to leave them sleeping rough.
So we should end homelessness because it's the right thing to do, for justice, but we should also end homelessness because there are cost offsets for doing so.
The state government has released a statement. The new residents will have around-the-clock security, meals and laundry service. Chris Campy for 10 News First.
A major hotel and apartment chain has made a special delivery to two of Queensland's busiest hospitals. 5,000 protective masks have been donated to help those fighting the good fight.
More armour for our masked heroes.
Surgical masks are a very valued resource, and in all times in healthcare, and in particular throughout this COVID-19 crisis.
Accommodation chain Arise decided to donate the N95 masks to the PA and Gold Coast hospitals after realising it had more than it needed.
Being a hotel-based business, we were seeing a lot of international travellers right at the start, so we reached out very early in the piece to chase PPE for our team.
While Queensland is successfully flattening the coronavirus curve, extra pressure is being placed on supplies of personal protective equipment as the health system resumes cancer screening and some elective surgeries.
So it's always our honour to donate, the masks to the health workers and to show us our support.
The masks will be especially useful in the PA's infectious diseases and intensive care wards, as well as the ER.
Like everybody else, we've had to stand down a lot of our team through this scenario, so I guess, there's not a lot we can do.
Except give those on the front line the tools they need to save lives. Brendan Savage for 10 News First.
Well, time now for an early weather check, Josh. A sunny start to the week.
That's right, Georgie. Absolutely beautiful for Monday afternoon across parts of southeast Queensland. In fact, it was the case across the state today. We've got an area of low pressure through the western areas of the state. That's not really producing any rainfall at the moment. Just some slight onshore winds for the Queensland coast. The odd light shower around areas of the northeast, but nothing really to write home about. It was clear skies across areas of Brisbane where we reached 29 degrees this afternoon. That is 2 above average for this time of year. We hit 26 degrees on the Gold Coast, and also for the sunny coast today, a little bit warmer for Redcliffe, reaching 27, 28 the top in Logan, and 29 for Ipswich. We hit 25 degrees out through the Darling Downs and Toowoomba. However, there is an Antarctic cold blast on the way as we get through this week. This will be our first notable winter storm of the season, and we'll have all those details coming up at around about 5 to 6.
We'll see you then. Thanks, Josh. Ahead, Boris is back. The UK's PM returns to work after his battle against COVID-19. Also, speculation runs rife about the fate of Kim Jong-un and a public debut. Too cute not to share.
If your car is serviced at a dealer because they gave you a capped price, Auto Leaders are the dealer alternative. We'll match their price and give you a 6-month, 10,000 kilometre warranty. Go to autoleaders.com.au.
I can't have kids. It looks like you're pregnant though.
Lockie? 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 Little boy, he's... Lockie! Here, I've got him.
The secrets she keeps. Wednesday after MasterChef.
To keep us all safe and to help our health workers, it's vital to know quickly if you've come in contact with someone who has tested positive for coronavirus. It's why we've introduced the COVIDSafe app. With your privacy protected by law, COVIDSafe keeps a secure note of other users you've been near if you have to go out. So, if they test positive for coronavirus, you'll be notified. It'll help us stop the spread sooner so we can get back to the things we love. Download COVIDSafe today. Authorised by the Chief Medical Officer, Canberra.
The world's most exotic fragrances are made by nature. That's why we've created Botanica fragrances, infused with natural ingredients that are responsibly sourced. Botanica by Airwick.
At Domino's, we pride ourselves on handcrafted pizzas, but after leaving our 265-degree ovens, the only hands that touch them are yours. Try any large pizza from just $15 delivered with zero contact delivery from Domino's.
When was the last time you washed your hands? Go on. In 20 seconds, you can help reduce the spread of infection. We don't care which soap you use. We care that you care. For you and for all. Dove.
If you're a small business, you've probably got a lot of questions right now, which is why you should speak to a professional accountant who's trained in planning and cash flow management strategies. For further support, contact a professional accountant today.
At Terry White ChemMart, we're here to help this winter with expert advice from masterclass trained pharmacists and a huge range of pharmacy-only cold and flu products. Get real winter defence at Terry White ChemMart. Now that's real chemistry.
Glen 20 has been helping to protect Aussies for generations. But we're not the only ones. Meals on Wheels protect our most vulnerable every day. You see, they're much more than just food delivery. They offer wellness support and a connection to the community, an invaluable service that's needed now more than ever. So to help them protect the people who need them, we're offering our support. And we're asking for your support too.
Busy kids have energy to burn. If you want to be sure they're getting the nutrients they need to grow and thrive, shake it up with Pediasure. A delicious Pediasure health shake contains 28 essential vitamins and minerals, plus protein, pre and probiotic and omega-3, which may help build immunity, support growth and a healthy appetite. Kids thrive with Pediasure. Also available in ready-to-drink bottles.
It's MasterChef.
This is next level.
Like you've never seen before.
You're watching 10 News First. Almost 3 million people are known to have been infected with COVID-19 and almost 1 million of them are in the US. At least 26 states are easing restrictions, while across the Atlantic, Britain's PM has returned to work after a battle that nearly killed him.
A van carrying the British Prime Minister back to Downing Street from his country retreat, Boris is back, recovered from coronavirus.
As you can imagine, with the Prime Minister, he's raring to go.
A month after being diagnosed, now armed with first-hand knowledge, the PM will chair the Coronavirus War Cabinet as the UK considers easing some restrictions. That's begun in Spain. After 42 long days, children were finally allowed outside to play. Today is a day for hope, this father said, while in virus-ravaged Italy, the Prime Minister announced a new plan to ease Europe's longest lockdown, starting with Italians being allowed to visit relatives from next week. Protesters in Berlin want Germany, with its extremely low death rate, to follow. Over in the US, churches reopened in Montana and restaurants will start trading again in Georgia. While at the White House, Donald Trump cancelled another press briefing as he faces more ridicule for his disinfectant debacle.
Injection inside or almost a cleaning.
No one should be using disinfectants to digest it to fight COVID-19.
Trump tweeting he is the hardest working president in history.
It bothers me that this is still in the news cycle because I think we're missing the bigger pieces of what we need to be doing as an American people.
Here in the virus epicenter of New York, the state recorded its lowest death rate in almost a month. And today, the governor said some low-risk businesses could begin reopening in a matter of weeks.
All that progress we made by flattening that curve, we could lose that in a matter of days if we're not careful.
A dilemma facing almost every city in the world. Eamon Ashton-Atkinson for 10 News First, New York.
South Korea has given its clearest rebuke yet to reports Kim Jong-un is dead. The South's Chief Minister for Northern Korean Relations says he has enough information to confidently say there's nothing unusual about the leader's health. It follows reports in Chinese media and US intelligence sources claiming the dictator is either dead or in grave danger following an operation.
But at this point, given how much talk there's been and how quiet both North Korea and China have been, my guess is there's probably something wrong with his health, which wouldn't be surprising, right? I mean, he's morbidly obese, he smokes, he's had gout in the past.
Kim hasn't been seen in public for more than 2 weeks. In Shanghai, a giant panda cub has made his public debut following the reopening of zoos across China. The 6-month-old was nothing short of impressive, playing around with mum and practising his climbing skills, much to the delight of onlookers. Well, stay with us. Tonight's top stories follow the break. Also, getting the gang back together. Your favourite Neighbours return to Ramsay Street. And the Sea Life Aquarium resident giving isolation the seal of approval.
.97.3 and 10 are giving you the chance to win $500 cash every day this week.
To enter, watch MasterChef at 7:30 to get the code word.
Then listen to us, Rob and Terry and Bob from 5:30 tomorrow on 97.3.
Even the harshest places in Australia have these beautiful natural surfaces. It's just incredible to photograph. It's the same with Colorbond Steel Matte, strong, enduring yet subtle in its beauty.
What happens to all the dirt on your dishes? It flows in your dishwasher, affecting its cleaning performance. Add Finish In-Wash Dishwasher Cleaner, the only one that cleans your dishwasher while it cleans your dishes. Try Finish In-Wash Dishwasher Cleaner today.
We are regional Australia.
We are winemakers.
We are coffee roasters.
Fashion designers.
Potters.
Bakers.
Shopkeepers. We are asking for your support because the wine is pouring.
The kiln is firing. And we're open for business.
Because where you shop matters.
Discover how Visa's network connects regional businesses to customers across Australia and the world.
Felix, my ribbon! You clever cat. You want your doubly delicious.
2 irresistible flavours in 1 delicious meal. Felix as good as it looks, doubly delicious. Double the flavour, double the taste.
I'm Tammy Button. I founded My Budget to help people get through difficult times. Now more than ever, we need to consider the best way to manage our money and prepare for the unknown. Call My Budget today for your free phone appointment.
Busy kids have energy to burn. If you want to be sure they're getting the nutrients they need to grow and thrive, shake it up with Pediasure. A delicious Pediasure health shake contains 28 essential vitamins and minerals, plus protein, pre and probiotic and omega-3, which may help support growth, immunity and a healthy appetite. Make it, shake it, love it. Kids thrive with Pediasure.
Australia's Gary Flynn went into the 200-metre wheelie bin final, the rank outsider. What happened next made elite average games history.
Quickly into the bend. Oh no! The Dutchman's hit the deck! There's a pile-up! Call the council!
Flynn's hit the front. Our man's going to win. Gold for Australia. Have some of that. Incredible. They'll make TV ads out of this, JB. Another make-it-look-easy moment from Sportsbet.
Suncorp has supported Queenslanders for over 100 years, and while you're staying at home, we'll help keep you covered if you're in hardship. Ask about our financial support and relief options. Visit suncorp.com.au. That's the Suncorp spirit.
Smartly monitor physical distancing in the workplace with the new i2Safe app. As the COVID-19 pandemic continues, maintaining physical distancing within the workplace is critical for worker well-being and business continuity. Using Bluetooth technology, the i2Safe app tracks worker distancing and provides an alert before a breach and information if a breach occurs. Don't risk having to stand down your business. Register your interest today at cloud82k.com/i2safe.
My husband is at it again.
She's meant to be your mate?
Yeah.
New How to Stay Married, coming to Tuesdays.
Hello again as we wrap things up tonight. Got a good run up the gateway from Nudgee all the way through to the Bruce Highway. We've got some slow conditions here heading out through the Gabba on the Pacific Motorway. It's not too bad though. Heading over the Story Bridge out of the valley over towards Kangaroo Point is looking colourful and very, very good too. Riverside Expressway, Captain Cook Bridge, not too bad, both in and out of the city, leaving the city exits. And a motorbike down here on Duffield Road through Kalanga, just off Anzac Avenue, not causing too much in the way of delays. I'm Dave Andrews. Thanks to Auto Leaders. Have a great night tonight, and I'll check the roads again for you tomorrow.
Tonight's top stories: Queenslanders to cough up the cash, I should say, if they're found to be assaulting frontline staff, with hefty fines now in play. Almost 2 million Australians sign up for the government's COVIDSafe tracing app. Health authorities say the response is far better than expected. And the cultural camp-out that's landed NRL stars Latrell Mitchell and Josh Addo-Carr in the sin bin for breaching COVID-19 restrictions. Film and television productions around the world have been halted by coronavirus restrictions, but Australia's favourite soapy has found a way to push on in a way that's leading the industry through the pandemic.
Ramsay Street has seen a lot of drama in its 35 years, but nothing quite like this.
So we love a challenge, and we're a very adaptable production, and with the cast and crew, willing to come with us, we've been able to pull it off.
Filming stopped when coronavirus broke out and social distancing was introduced. But today, the cast and crew returned.
We're back. We're really lucky here. We've got one of the biggest production facilities actually in the world.
The set has been broken down into sections and staff don't mingle between them. Props are handled in plastic bags and scenes involving hugging, kissing and even punching have been scripted out. But it's hoped the fans won't even notice.
I promise you it won't show up on screen. The directors have been amazing, the way they've thought of new ways of shooting things.
Colette Mann says it's a challenge she's excited for.
This is different, but it's good because I've got the attention span of a gnat, and so I love a bit of change.
Temperatures are checked at the gate and anyone over 37.5 degrees isn't allowed in.
You've got to think of this coronavirus like glitter. You touch glitter, you know how it spreads everywhere.
The arts sector has been decimated by the coronavirus restrictions, with production halted on TV shows and films across not just Australia, but the world. Yet Neighbours is now leading the way and proving that it can be turned around.
We're just all using a lot of common sense, and we're taking all the advice and seeing how we can move forward accordingly.
Because these neighbours are more than just good friends. Candice Wyatt for 10 News First.
The Sea Life Aquarium has held a special tour for one of its own. April, the Australian sea lion, flopped her way around the place with a trainer, marking her first foray outside her home of Seal Island. The aquarium is closed due to coronavirus, so April had the run of the place. You can watch her take another wander around on a live stream at the Sea Life Facebook page tomorrow morning. Sport time now, Jono. Some NRL players in trouble again.
Yeah, believe it or not, unfortunately not the best timing either, Georgie. Thank you. Hello everyone, coming up, Peter V'landys admits it's not a good look for the game as 3 players break social distancing laws. More next. Plus, why the Suns and Lions are working together to get the AFL back underway. And meet the Olympic sailor who has literally grown up on the water.
If your car is serviced at a dealer because they gave you a capped price, Auto Leaders are the dealer alternative. We'll match their price and give you a 6-month, 10,000 kilometre warranty. Go to autoleaders.com.au.
Aussie actor Miranda Tapsell joins us for a chat next.
Have you been missing Ed, Ursula, Marty, Kitty and Sam?
I mean, say no more as far as I...
Well, next Monday, they're back.
I love you so much. I'm not unhappy with that.
The new season of Have You Been Paying Attention returns next Monday.
60,000 Australians are living with blood cancer, like leukemia, lymphoma or myeloma. The Leukemia Foundation is committed to ensuring people living with blood cancer and their families receive the support they need. Someone to talk to, a place to stay close to hospital, and transport to and from treatment. If you or someone you love is impacted by blood cancer, please contact the Leukemia Foundation via leukemia.org.au. Proudly supported by Bridgestone.
I'm Tammy Button. I founded My Budget to help people get through difficult times. Now more than ever, we need to consider the best way to manage our money and prepare for the unknown. Call My Budget today for your free phone appointment.
When headaches hold you back, try Nurofen Quicksorb. Its advanced formula absorbs quickly, relieving headaches fast. For quick, effective pain relief, choose Nurofen Quicksorb.
Glen 20 has been helping to protect Aussies for generations. But we're not the only ones. Meals on Wheels protect our most vulnerable every day. You see, they're much more than just food delivery. They offer wellness support and a connection to the community, an invaluable service that's needed now more than ever. So to help them protect the people who need them, we're offering our support. And we're asking for your support too.
Let's do it, baby.
It's on, mate.
Get PointsBet's new racing form from RaceNet. PointsBet offers you won't believe, moments you'll never forget.
Employees of Budget Direct, over 20 years, you have become the country's most award-winning insurer, providing top-notch cover for more than 3 million Australians.
It's a start. 22 million to go. Will you help people get a better deal on their car insurance?
Will you fight to save Australians on their home insurance? No, Karen. She loves saving people money.
Who are you?
Proudly saving Australians on insurance for 20 years. Budget Direct. Insurance solved.
Colac, Victoria, the home of ice cream. It's where we take fresh local milk and cream, free-range eggs and 90 years of know-how to craft our creamiest, premiumest ice cream. Bulla Murray Street.
At Domino's, our first priority is the health and safety of our team members and customers. That's why we are now offering zero-contact delivery, so you can get any large pizza from $15 delivered with total peace of mind.
It's MasterChef.
This is next level.
Like you've never seen before.
Welcome back. Peter V'landys says he's disappointed after 3 NRL players breached social distancing laws. It's not a good look for the game as it moves forward with restart plans. And late today, the New Zealand Warriors were given permission to enter the country and begin training. Emma Lawrence has more.
Yes, thank you very much. I've got the chairman of the commission with me, Peter V'landys. Peter, some great news with getting that federal government approval for the Warriors. When do we expect to have the ball rolling further and have the exemptions from the state government?
Look, we've had pre-discussions with the state government, so the matter can be expedited. We have written to the state government because the first port of call was the federal government. We couldn't go to the state government without that border security approval. Now that we have that, we take it to the next process, and hopefully the state government will allow the players to train in the facility, which they're the only ones that'll be there. So there's no risk to the community, there's no risk to the players. They'll be self-isolated in there, but at least they can continue to train.
Some disappointing news this morning coming out with those videos from Josh Addo-Carr and Latrell Mitchell. How would you describe what you saw?
Look, it was disappointing what I saw, but both players deserve, or there's three players actually deserve due process and natural justice, and until that process is undertaken, I shouldn't be prejudging it. We'll be seeking an explanation, but on the surface of it, it is disappointing.
In terms of moving forward, you've got a 48-page document that has been sent to the clubs now. Can you trust that the players are going to be following all of these protocols?
Absolutely. Look, we're confident just a couple of players, look, and they didn't have the protocols. The only ones that they've really breached are the federal government protocols and the state government protocols. So I'm confident that, once they all have the document, they will all abide by it.
And just finally, with all of these restrictions that will be put into place, most of them fairly straightforward, but this idea of players' homes being inspected, what exactly are medical officers looking for in terms of looking at a player's home?
Look, I don't want to comment on that because that document was actually for consultation. Unfortunately, it got in the media, but the first port of call was to consult the players and the clubs, and we may add things after that consultation. So it's probably a bit premature to say the detail of it until all the consultation is finalised.
No worries, Peter. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Former Wallaby skipper Andrew Slack says it's the rule book holding the code back as Rugby Union looks to become more relevant again. He's part of a committee trying to make rugby less complicated, looking at laws at the breakdown, scrum and defence.
There's no competitive football space in the world like Australia, so rugby has to lift its game.
Slack was asked to sign a letter alongside disgruntled former Wallaby captains, but he turned them down because it wasn't full of solutions. A Gold Coast and Brisbane joint hub is being seriously considered by AFL headquarters. 10 News First understands if it gets the go-ahead, it would consist of an 8-week block starting in June or July.
It's official. The Gold Coast isn't alone in its AFL hub housing hopes.
We certainly have been quietly lobbying for us to be part of that as well.
Sun's CEO Mark Evans floated the idea of games being played on the coast last week. Today, Mayor Tom Tate backed him up.
If you're going to base somewhere, why would you want to pick anywhere else? Why would you go to Adelaide or Perth? It's too far. Come to the Gold Coast, we'll have you.
But it's a plan flawed in one major area. Criteria states you need 2 stadiums to qualify. That's where Brisbane comes into play.
The Gabba and Metricon are 2 AFL standard grounds, which, tick that box.
An option being strongly considered is a block of 8 weeks in that hub, with players going through significant testing and biosecurity measures.
Well, I think there'll be a bit of everything. I think, you'll be tested within an inch of your life, I think.
But as we've already seen, the biggest challenge will be ensuring players don't break strict quarantine and curfews.
You can't watch everyone all the time, but I think as a code, we've been pretty good at, abiding by the rules.
Soon, there'll be plenty more to adhere to. Josh McLean for 10 News First.
Elite athletes often throw themselves into their craft, but Mara Stransky has taken it to another level. The 21-year-old will represent Australia in sailing at the Tokyo Olympic Games and has taken to life on the water more than most.
Living aboard a 50-foot catamaran may sound like a dream, but for Mara Stransky, it's a reality.
It's not even too cold.
Growing up on the water with parents Andrew and Carolyn, everyday things can be a challenge, like making sure the groceries don't weigh down the boat or battling the swell in a gym session.
Even just for a start, to get ashore we have to row in a dinghy, and we really have to schedule our days well so that whoever needs the dinghy has it at the right time.
Add in the training demands of an elite athlete and things can get a little hectic.
We've grown pretty close over the years, which I think you kind of have to because, otherwise you'd be stepping on each other's toes a lot.
The Queenslander didn't move into dinghy sailing until she was 16. Just 5 years later, she's qualified for the Olympics in the laser radial class. Without a land base to call her own, the support of the Royal Queensland Yacht Squadron has been invaluable. They've been represented at every Games since 1956.
I wouldn't have considered Olympic sailing at all until I moved to RQ. For me, sailing was more of a lifestyle.
Mara was identified very early as someone who has got that drive, the ability, the motivation, the self-motivation and the ambitions to make it to the top level.
Though the Games' 12-month delay has raised her expectations.
Going into this year, it was going to be very much about gaining experience and exposure in that context, which is very different to just any other regatta. But with an extra year to prepare, I think it could be quite different. Yeah, I'd really like to be a little bit more competitive.
She can only hope for smooth sailing until then. Veronica Eggleton for 10 News First.
Certainly worse places to live than on the boat.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks, Jono. A cold polar storm is on the way. Josh has all the details next.
Eliminee Ben Milbourne serves as the latest from the MasterChef kitchen.
It's MasterChef.
This is next level.
Like you've never seen before.
Wow. It's delicious.
Love it.
It is unbelievable.
Who will make the ultimate crowd pleaser? The MasterChef live event, 7:30 tonight.
Hi, I'm Jo from Westpac, and I'm here to show you how easy it is to set up online banking on your computer. First, type westpac.com.au/register into your browser. Now on this page, select the register button at the right-hand side of the screen. Next, enter your Westpac card details or your customer ID along with your name and date of birth. You'll find your customer ID on your statement. In some cases, you may be asked some security questions to confirm your identity. You'll need to create a password that you'll use to log back into Westpac online banking. Finally, you'll need to confirm or update your email and mobile number. Perfect. You're all set up. If you need any more information, visit westpac.com.au/register. And above all, please stay safe.
What happens to all the dirt on your dishes? It flows in your dishwasher, affecting its cleaning performance. Add Finish In-Wash Dishwasher Cleaner, the only one that cleans your dishwasher while it cleans your dishes. Try Finish In-Wash Dishwasher Cleaner today.
In 1 week, a lot will happen in your life. Who has time for wrinkles? Neutrogena Rapid Wrinkle Repair's derm-proven retinol works so fast, it takes only 1 week to reveal younger-looking skin. Neutrogena.
Are you ready for over 50s designer resort style living, but are having trouble selling your home? At Palm Lake Resort, we'll buy your home so you can start your new lifestyle today.
They offered to take our home from us and we could have this home up here. It was our dreams come true. It's unbelievable.
This special offer is for a limited time only. So contact us today to arrange a free appraisal. Palm Lake Resort. This is your time.
At UE, we're all about how you use or don't use your car. But right now, most people who usually drive to work aren't. Most people who work from home are driving even less, and most retirees and commuters are homebound. If you are using your car less, we'd like to give you temporary relief on your car insurance premiums. UE clients, go to our website, follow the prompts, and your saving will be applied. Shopping around for car insurance? The same relief applies to you. UE, you insured.
It is weather time, Josh. Temperatures are set to dive.
A cold Antarctic blast is lining up southeastern Australia. We'll be pushing across Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week, and we'll look at that in detail in just a few moments. Firstly, getting airborne again across southeast Queensland this afternoon. A beautiful sunset unfolding once again. We have seen some crackers in recent times. 29 was the top in Brisbane today, 2 above average for this time of year. And right now we're sitting on 23 degrees, humidity at 65%. and the winds at 7 kilometres per hour. The sun just getting low enough there to illuminate the underside of that cloud, creating those beautiful colours you can see on screen. But moving into the satellite picture, there wasn't too much cloud cover across parts of Queensland today. It was clear skies in the best part of the state. You can just see a bit of that high cloud moving across southern Queensland during this afternoon. That's what you just saw in those pictures from our traffic chopper. A little bit further to the west, we've got a trough low pressure, which is causing a bit of cloud cover over WA. But it's this system we're watching with interest over the coming days as it makes its journey towards areas of southern Australia over the next few days. Impacting areas of South Australia probably late tomorrow night and then tracking across southeastern parts of the country. For Queensland, this high is still influencing our weather, still producing some light onshore winds, and as a result could see some showers up around areas of the Cape, but most areas should be generally fine as we get through Tuesday. But let's have a closer look at this weather system because it is a notable one. You can see it here approaching from the west as we get through tomorrow and then into Wednesday and Thursday. Now this line here is called the 540 line. Basically it's a rough guide for us forecasters, and we do anticipate anywhere south of this line that the snow line will dip to around about 1,000 metres. It's just a bit of a rough guide, and you can see plenty of snow forecast for Tassie, Victoria and New South Wales, but you can see the 540 line popping up a little bit further north. So I wouldn't be shocked if we saw some snow across parts of the Blue Mountains in New South Wales, even the central tablelands, but we'll also see some of that southerly air push into the southern areas of Queensland a little bit later in the week. And on the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, you will notice first thing in the morning, it will be quite chilly indeed. And then through the afternoon, you will notice those westerly winds also providing a little bit of wind chill factor. So make sure you keep that in the back of your mind, and we'll be tracking that system right through this week for you. As you can see here, the chance of a shower tomorrow along areas of the east coast, thanks to those onshore winds we saw a few moments ago. Slight chance as well for the southern coast as we get through tomorrow, but really only light falls expected as we get through Tuesday. Sydney tomorrow, chance of a shower 24 degrees, some early fog for Canberra and 22. A sunny day for Melbourne, tops of 20, and showers will be increasing a little bit later in the day for Adelaide as that frontal system approaches. 22 and mostly sunny for Perth. Back home, it should be mostly sunny for Cairns and Townsville tomorrow, tops of 30 degrees there. 33 for the Isa and Longreach. We're looking at a top of 29 for Roma, and there is the chance of a shower tomorrow for Bundaberg and Maryborough, and Gympie as well with a top of 28 degrees. Into the southeast, it will be partly cloudy. The medium chance of showers most likely in the late morning and afternoon. Overnight temperatures falling to between 14 and 18 degrees. Daytime temperatures reaching the mid to high 20s. And on the bay, east to south easterly winds 10 to 15 knots. The seas below 1 metre. 27 degrees with a shower or two for Brisbane tomorrow. Only light falls expected. Partly cloudy skies Wednesday. A shower or two again on the forecast Thursday. And there you go, those temperatures beginning to drop down as we head towards Saturday and Sunday. It will be the case for Ipswich as well. Shower or two Thursday, down to 6 degrees Saturday, 7 degrees Sunday, and the extended forecast for the Golden Sunshine Coast coming up shortly.
The full force to protect the frontline. Hefty fines introduced immediately to protect Queenslanders just trying to do their job. Gold Coast beaches back in business, but it comes with strings attached. If you're not local, you're not welcome. And almost 2 million Australians sign up for the government's COVID-19 tracing app, but tech experts say there's still cause for concern. From today, huge on-the-spot fines will be dished out to those who abuse frontline staff. The new crackdown follows an alarming increase in attacks on Queenslanders simply trying to do their job. Here's state political reporter Claire Barnes.
These are the latest penalties to be brought in, designed to protect frontline workers during COVID-19. The state government today announcing anyone who deliberately coughs, sneezes or spits on an essential worker faces an on-the-spot fine of $1,300 or up to $13,000 if it goes to court. That includes attacks against all health staff and emergency services, but also retail workers, public transport operators, taxi drivers, as well as teachers and school staff. The new fines have been triggered by an increase in assaults across a number of sectors as people take out their frustrations.
During a pandemic, a cough can be used as a weapon. A sneeze can be as dangerous as a knife. Spitting is, of course, always disgusting.
Disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting to think that some people are putting other people's lives at risk.
Over the weekend, police dished out another 114 fines to people breaching quarantine or social distancing rules, including a number of Queenslanders caught out holding house parties.
That's really not acceptable. Now is not the time to undo all the good work that has been done.
Well, the next big test will be this coming long weekend when restrictions are eased slightly.
On the Gold Coast, restrictions have eased further, with the city's only closed beach to be reopened tonight. But the Mayor has warned it's for the benefit of residents only. Matthew Howard has the details.
From midnight this evening, the Spit will be reopened to the public in response to a statewide easing of restrictions. It was one of 3 beaches to close alongside Surfers Paradise and Coolangatta earlier this month after people ignored warnings and crowded the city's foreshores. While the others reopened last week, the Mayor kept the Spit closed to ward off crowds from Brisbane. He says even once open tomorrow, out-of-towners need to abide the 50-kilometre driving rule and stay away.
The data shows that that it's appropriate to open, so I can go by our medical officer.
From today, Council also began reopening some of the 6,000 oceanside car parks that were closed to discourage beach use. All are set to be accessible by the end of the week.
Well, I think it's a sensible thing to do. I think the public is pretty well educated to do the right thing.
The Mayor says while there were large crowds over the weekend, results have been promising, but beachgoers will need to continue social distancing to avoid future closures.
As long as we stick to the distancing, I think that's okay. I don't really think that we can cause more damage than we have.
Flags will remain down along Gold Coast beaches so as not to encourage swimming and sunbaking until restrictions are eased further.
Australians are already downloading the COVID-19 tracing app much faster than anyone expected. Almost 2 million people are already on board, but some tech experts still have concerns. Tegan George has the latest.
The uptake of the COVIDSafe app overnight has smashed the government's hopes and expectations, with more than 1 million Australians jumping on and downloading the app within the first 5 hours. Health Minister Greg Hunt says he'd anticipated it would take 5 days to break that milestone, but as we know, the government needs at least 40% of the adult population to get on board. So that's why we're seeing state premiers and politicians from across the divide urging millions more to sign up. Curiously, we had public reassurances from several ministers that the government would release the all-important source code, which hasn't happened yet. That's like the blueprint of the program, and that's what's causing great concern to independent tech experts who say it's necessary for transparency and to make sure people's privacy is protected.
It's like lifting the bonnet on a car and seeing all the components and how they work together. And that makes it transparent. So you don't have to trust what someone tells you the software does. You can actually examine it to see what it does.
We will be releasing the source code for everything that is safe to do so, and that's currently being assessed by the Australian Cybersecurity Centre.
It's about helping our public health officials do their job, and that's all it is. And that it is a no-risk, highly secure, very safe app.
Now, the government has repledged today it will make the source code available in the next 2 weeks once it gets the all clear from its own cybersecurity experts.
The man behind the wheel of a truck which ploughed into 4 Victorian police officers, killing them, has fronted court for the first time. His appearance comes as the family of the Porsche driver accused of fleeing the scene broke their silence.
It's no secret Richard Pusey lived a lavish lifestyle, but it's a lifestyle not mirrored by his family. A woman who claimed to be his mother told 3AW she was disgusted by his alleged behaviour.
We as a family have been estranged from Richard for some period of time. We learned of the horrendous accident on Wednesday evening.
Since Pusey's arrest, the woman said family members had received death threats.
We were incredibly shocked and deeply ashamed by the events that unfolded surrounding the accident and thereafter.
The 41-year-old mortgage broker has been accused of filming and tormenting Senior Constable Lynette Taylor as she lay dying. Police allege he didn't help her, but Dr. Amanda Sampson did.
I wanted to reassure them that all the officers were surrounded by many people who came to help, many people who were there at the time.
She came to Lynette Taylor's aid after witnessing the crash and wants her family to know she wasn't alone.
There were 2 of us, and then there were 20, and then there were 30.
Dr Sampson's message to the fallen officers and their families comes as thousands of others show their support, either online or by way of floral tributes. A steady stream of flowers now paves the entrance to the Boroondara Police Station.
Take heart that we're all grieving with you. We can't feel your pain. Only you can feel how bad that is.
Jade Kotick for 10 News First.
A 90-year-old man has died after he was hit while riding a mobility scooter. He was leaving a service station on Malula Road just before 6:30 this morning when he was struck by a vehicle. He was taken to Sunshine Coast University Hospital but was pronounced dead a short time later. The 42-year-old driver of the car wasn't injured. Brave neighbours have risked their lives to save a family from their burning home at Logan. Everyone managed to escape, but the inferno destroyed the property, crushing the retirement dreams of the owners.
A family home up in flames. Jim and Nola Ryan, their daughter and son-in-law, had just sat down to dinner around 7 o'clock last night when their home began burning around them.
When I first looked out, the flames were on the veranda there and they only seemed like a couple of feet. Next thing, she just went bangs, went straight through the whole place.
Kyle Dickinson lives across the road. He saw the inferno and ran to save his neighbours.
So we tried to obviously fight it off as best we could and make sure everyone was out of the house and animals. We dragged their gas bottles out for them so it didn't blow up.
The 32-year-old and his housemate put their lives on the line using fire extinguishers before crews arrived.
Really intense, the heat. It was, the bits of the roof were caving in at that point as well, so it was pretty dramatic. But yeah, it was pretty freaky for sure.
In a cruel twist, Jim and Nola had been renovating. This was supposed to be their retirement home. That dream is now well and truly over.
It's pretty frightening, hey, when you see your neighbour's house going up in flames and there's not a damn thing anybody can do. Yeah, just watching it burn.
Investigations are continuing. It's believed a gas line started the blaze. The home is now unlivable, but it was insured and at least everyone made it out alive, likely saved by the brave actions of people like Kyle.
I wouldn't say I was a hero, man, to be honest. Like, I wish I could have done more, to be honest, yeah.
John Paul Gonzo for 10 News First.
Coming up, the full impact of NAB's trading halt on our markets. Also, Boris is back as the UK faces a grim financial future. Plus, why a growing number of Australians are finding working at home a pain in the neck. And in sport, former Wallabies captain Andrew Slack calls for rule changes in Rugby Union.
School's back, along with super stressed parents trying to juggle it all. We've got your go-to guide to surviving remote learning.
We believe that experiencing the world is a great way to build your child's resilience. To help prepare them for each experience, we have developed Aptamil Toddler, with scientifically researched ingredients that nutritionally support their immune system and cognitive function. Let them build their resilience by experiencing the world. Aptamil Toddler. Raise them resilient.
Employees of Budget Direct. Over 20 years, you have become the country's most award-winning insurer, providing top-notch cover for more than 3 million Australians.
It's a start. 22 million to go. Will you help people get a better deal on their car insurance?
Will you fight to save Australians on their home insurance? Oh, Karen. She loves saving people money.
Who are you?
Proudly saving Australians on insurance for 20 years. Budget Direct. Insurance solved.
If dry or flaky skin is causing you frustration and embarrassment, try E45 cream. It soothes and relieves by creating an effective barrier to protect against skin dryness. Feel comfortable in your skin. Switch to E45.
When life gives you kiddiness, Godfrey's gives you cleanliness. Ecovacs Depot 600 robot, $299, save $100. Hoover bagless vacuum, $149, save $150. Godfrey's cleanliness.
As credit to you, here's up to $120 credit from us. Add any selected month-to-month mobile plan with Vodafone and get the credit you deserve over 12 months. Find out more at vodafone.com.au. Ready?
There's nothing like a cold glass of Milo. You stir it all the way down and leave a little party on top. Yep, it's the Milo crunch you can't resist. Ah, love it.
What happens to all the dirt on your dishes? It flows in your dishwasher, affecting its cleaning performance. Add Finish In-Wash Dishwasher Cleaner, the only one that cleans your dishwasher while it cleans your dishes. Try Finish In-Wash Dishwasher Cleaner today.
Suncorp has supported Queenslanders for over 100 years, and while you're staying at home, we'll help keep you covered if you're in hardship. Ask about our financial support and relief options. Visit suncorp.com.au. That's the Suncorp spirit.
Let's hear it for the quitters. In Australia, there are 144 fewer smokers each week, and with Nicorette Quick Mist, you're 2.5 times more likely to succeed. Nicorette, let's do something amazing.
Have you been missing Ed, Ursula, Marty, Kitty and Sam?
What? I love you so much.
I did not understand a word of that.
Well, next Monday, they're back.
This is awesome. I think we know why. I've given you the points. What more do you want?
Just here to admit that you're wrong.
The new season of Have You Been Paying Attention returns next Monday.
Hello there. Well, the National Australia Bank's plans to go on a $3.5 billion capital raising effort to shore up its books in the face of a virus-driven economic downturn weighed heavily on the market. Shares slipping well into the red in early trade. NAB, ANZ, Westpac and CBA during this time were all down between 2 and 3.5%. Now, economists say the financial sector suffered because investors were weighing up whether other banks would follow suit and to what extent. Now, while they were all seeing red, COVID-19 has seen some companies soar. Accent Group revealing to the ASX today just how successful its online business has become. Its brands include the likes of Athlete's Foot, Hype and Skechers. Now, its internet sales have grown from around $250,000 a day prior to stores closing in March to $1.1 million a day. So, how did the share market wrap up? In positive territory, despite the bank drag. Domain Holding, which is majority owned by Nine Entertainment, up a whopping 18% after telling the market it had, among other things, reached an agreement with its bank for a new debt facility. Looking at the dollar, it's surged, hitting a 6-week high. It's now buying more than 64.5 US cents. And that's finance.
At least 26 US states have begun easing coronavirus restrictions. In Georgia, the governor is even allowing restaurants and cinemas to open later tonight. New York's governor is hoping to begin a phased reopening from mid-next month.
All that progress we made by flattening that curve, we could lose that in a matter of days if we're not careful.
New York's daily death toll has dropped to below 400 for the first time this month. Nationwide, almost 1 million people have now tested positive. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has returned to official duties 3 weeks after nearly losing his life to coronavirus. 413 people died in the past 24 hours in what is the country's lowest daily figure this month. It sparked further pressure to ease restrictions, with the UK economy facing a deep recession that'll take more than 3 years to recover from. Spain's government has begun easing Europe's toughest lockdown, allowing children to play outside for an hour each day. Relatives of the victims of New Zealand's volcano tragedy are suing the cruise company that allowed them to step foot on White Island. Royal Caribbean is being pursued for alleged negligence and breaches of contract and consumer law. 17 Australians were among 21 people killed when the volcano erupted in December. 19 of the victims were holidaying on the company's Ovation of the Seas cruise ship. Physiotherapists say the number of Australians now forced to work from home has led to a large spike in neck, back and shoulder injuries. They're warning makeshift home offices increase risks of injury, but there are ways to help.
Melissa Fraser is one of thousands of South Aussies who've seen their workplace shift from the office to the lounge room, a transition that's left the 47-year-old with serious back pain.
It's just the pain and you just don't feel like doing much else.
The insurance broker's been working from home for the past month, but didn't initially appreciate the risk posed by a makeshift office.
Haven't got my footrest, which I'd normally have at work, and I sort of hunch probably a little bit more, and the chair's very old and unstable.
The recent jump in the number of people working from home has physios reporting a 20% spike in patients with similar complaints.
If you can have your desk set up in a way much like your workplace, so if you can use a monitor and an external keyboard rather than just using a laptop.
But home office equipment can be expensive and, due to high demand, hard to find.
So trying to keep the 90 degrees at your knees, 90 degrees at your hips, eyes in line with what you're looking at, little hacks to try and make it easier without spending too much money.
It's also important to get up and stretch the legs every half an hour, while some simple exercises can help ease the pain.
Trying to roll your shoulders and reduce tension, trying to stretch out some of the muscles along either side of your neck, so tilting your ear over to one side and holding in a couple of directions.
Josh Money for 10 News First.
Well, Jono's back now with another look at sport.
Thank you, Georgie. Hello again. The Warriors will be based in the New South Wales town of Tamworth for their lockdown period ahead of the revamped NRL season. A joint statement from the Prime Minister's Department, the NRL and the Warriors is expected Wednesday. The team will arrive in Australia on Sunday and stay and train at West Tamworth Leagues Club. Meantime, New South Wales Police have fined Josh Addo-Carr and Latrell Mitchell for flouting COVID-19 rules during a weekend camping trip.
Look, it was disappointing what I saw, but both players deserve, or there's three players actually deserve due process and natural justice, and until that process is undertaken, I shouldn't be prejudging it. We'll be seeking an explanation, but on the surface of it, it is disappointing.
The pair posted apologies on social media this afternoon, hours after the NRL lashed their actions as unacceptable. The Lions CEO Greg Swan is confident his players can handle spending up to 8 weeks locked away from loved ones in a proposed southeast Queensland AFL hub. A joint proposal between the Lions and Suns is gaining momentum as one of up to 3 locations the season could be relaunched.
We're really happy with the depth that we've got, so if people don't want to play or they're injured, then it's next man up and we'll go from there. So that's sort of been the way we've approached it.
It's expected the competition will relaunch in either June or July. One of the Wallabies' greatest captains, Andrew Slack, feels for Raylene Castle and says she's hard done by following her messy departure from Rugby Australia. Slack says now is the perfect time to change the game for the better and to appeal to a broader audience.
Andrew Slack was offered to join the chorus of disgruntled former Wallabies captains, but quickly turned them down.
I just didn't think it was the best way to go about things. That would be one way. It's not the way I'd necessarily do things. And the second thing was it wasn't full of solutions. In fact, didn't have any.
Australia's last Grand Slam winning skipper, who also led the Wallabies to their last triumph against the All Blacks at Eden Park, insists his friendships remain intact.
I don't think you're going to have very good captains if they're all yes men. Big boys talking about stuff they believe in, and someone enjoys the Sex Pistols, the other people enjoy the Beatles, different ways to do things.
Slack believes the former captains and board members would have been singing a different tune if Raylene Castle converted the broadcast deal, which was days away from completion before the corona shutdown kicked in.
I think she did her very best and was hard done by in a lot of ways.
While he won't weigh in on who should take over, a change of rules is big on Slack's agenda. He's part of a committee trying to make rugby less complicated, looking at laws at the breakdown, scrum and defence.
There's no competitive football space in the world like Australia, so rugby has to lift its game.
And lift its way back into the hearts and minds of the Australian sporting public.
There's been a changing of the guard as the face of the Ironman series. Darren Mercer and Trevor Hendy were the iconic Ironmen in their day, and now decades later their children, Jordan Mercer and TJ Hendy, have their own faces on the cereal boxes.
It was an amazing experience. Went on Baywatch and met Madonna and met Michael Jackson and had crazy experiences. And I think that's one of the things that I miss for these guys and girls, that they're not quite in that heyday, that they didn't get to experience all that sort of stuff. But they're incredible athletes and incredible human beings.
Let's hope the series will return in time for the summer. So many great memories there, Georgie.
I know, it was quite a heyday, wasn't it?
It was.
Thanks, Jono. Coming up, Josh has the extended forecast for the southeast.
It's MasterChef.
This is next level.
Like you've never seen before.
You are cooking live.
Let the Hunger Games begin.
Wow, it's delicious.
Love it.
It is unbelievable.
Who will make the ultimate crowd pleaser?
It's a cracker. I love that.
The MasterChef live event, 7:30 tonight.
Wish you had internet that didn't let you down? That doesn't leave you hanging and won't have you missing any of the action? Get Vodafone NBN with 4G backup. Plans start from just $65 a month. And with free express delivery, connect instantly once you receive it. Buy online today at vodafone.com.au. Ready?
It is the heart of the home. It's the heart of our family. We need it to last a long time.
We definitely make the whole process affordable and easy.
So to create the amazing look without the big prices, beautiful kitchens that look amazing.
You wash loads, but do you ever wash your washing machine? Every load leaves behind grime and, what's that smell? Pino Clean Washing Machine Cleaner removes 99.9% of germs, leaving it clean and fresh for longer. It's not clean unless it's Pino Clean.
If dry or flaky skin is causing you frustration and embarrassment, try E45 cream. It soothes and relieves by creating an effective barrier to protect against skin dryness. Feel comfortable in your skin. Switch to E45.
Suncorp has supported Queenslanders for over 100 years, and while you're staying at home, we'll help keep you covered if you're in hardship. Ask about our financial support and relief options. Visit suncorp.com.au. That's the Suncorp spirit.
Upload's that way, OR's the other way. What do you want to do?
Upload. Anytime you need me, I'll be here for you.
In-app purchase required.
I'm not even supposed to be here.
You think I wanted to fall into the Grand Canyon?
I saw that video. You dabbed on the way down.
That's how you get the likes.
Let's hear it for the quitters. In Australia, there are 144 fewer smokers each week, and with Nicorette Quick Mist, you're 2.5 times more likely to succeed. Nicorette, let's do something amazing.
To keep us all safe and to help our health workers, it's vital to know quickly if you've come in contact with someone who has tested positive for coronavirus. It's why we've introduced the COVIDSafe app. With your privacy protected by law, COVIDSafe keeps a secure note of other users you've been near if you have to go out. So, if they test positive for coronavirus, you'll be notified. It'll help us stop the spread sooner so we can get back to the things we love. Download COVIDSafe today. Authorised by the Chief Medical Officer, Canberra.
Up next, everything you need to know about the government's new COVIDSafe tracing app. Our special investigation into just how much the coronavirus has changed all aspects of our lives, and how Aussie actress Miranda Tapsell's not letting self-iso slow her down. The Project, next.
Time for a final weather check. Josh, we should make the most of these warm afternoons.
Yeah, that's right, Georgie. It has been balmy in recent times, that is for sure, but it's going to be short-lived. We've got a major change on the way, pushing through southern Australia over the next couple of days. It comes in the form of a cold front and then an associated low pressure, which will continue to drive up cold southerly air through Victoria, New South Wales, and eventually over the weekend it will start to push into southern areas of Queensland, dropping temperatures, especially first thing in the morning. But then we'll have those westerly winds through the afternoon, and out and about it will feel a little bit cooler than the forecast temperature. But for tomorrow, we're expecting the onshore winds to create a few showers along the coastal fringe. Nothing really huge expected into the rain gauges. A few spits and spats though, and it could include parts of the southern coast as we get through Tuesday. Moving up to the states north, it should be mostly sunny for Cairns tomorrow with 30 degrees. Townsville hitting the same mark, and 25 the top for Atherton. 33 for Longreach and 29 for Rocky. The chance of a shower though a little bit further south for Bundaberg, Maryborough and Gympie. For the southeast, will be partly cloudy with the medium chance of showers, most likely in the late morning and afternoon. 27 for Logan, 28 at Ipswich and 24 for Toowoomba. For Brisbane City, we're looking at a shower or two and a top of 27 degrees. 28 on the way Wednesday with the shower or two forecast Thursday. But look at those temperatures starting to decrease as we head towards the two best days of the week. Will be much the same for Ipswich, a shower or two Thursday and 31. And then we're looking at 25 degrees across the weekend, but dipping down into single digits as we get across Saturday and Sunday morning. Now for the Gold Coast, a shower or two Tuesday, Wednesday. Showers increasing on Thursday with a top of 28 degrees. And then look at that, the Gold getting down to 7 degrees first thing Saturday and Sunday morning. Much the same for the sunny coast. We're looking at a shower or two Tuesday, a possible shower Wednesday and a shower or two Thursday. And like the Gold Coast, looking very cool as we head to the weekend. George, you have to rug up first thing.
A chilly one indeed. Thank you, Josh. That is 10 News First for now. For more details on tonight's stories, head to 10 Daily, but stay on 10. The project is next. We see you tomorrow. Good night.
Tonight, everything you need to know about the government's new COVIDSafe tracing app.
Our special investigation into just how much the coronavirus has changed all aspects of our lives.
School's back, but online around most of the country. We've got some tips for parents trying to juggle it all.
And how Aussie actress Miranda Tapsell's not letting self-iso slow her down. This is The Project. Good evening, welcome to The Project. We're joined by a very lifelike simulation, I'm sure you'll agree, of Steve Price.
Great to be with you, thank you very much, and thank you very much to Peter, who sent me a text message yesterday afternoon saying, have you downloaded the government's app?
Yes,
and I immediately did it. Thank you, Pete.
Yeah,
and
I heard back from you. You said yes, you've downloaded the app. Didn't hear from these two muggins. Mate, there's a bit going on in my house on the weekend. Getting you
I just don't read your text, sorry.
But I did download the app.
You did download the app?
Although I found it confusing to work out which app it was, because there was a lot with similar sounding names. I think we got the Viz here. If you yourself are going, which one do I download? This? No, we don't.
I ended up with three.
We'll have it later in the show.
I ended up with three, Carrie. Three different things that had nothing to do with it.
Pricey ended up on Grindr, believe it or not.
What is Grindr?
You know. Thousands of families have now been remote learning for weeks now. Thousands more are about to join them. So how are Aussie families holding up?
It's like we're all in the world's strangest education experiment.
It's been a challenge to say the least. I work full-time from home and my husband runs a business from home.
Honestly, I am overwhelmed. Reams of booklets. They have to do a page of every single day. I'm ready to go and hide in a corner. It's been an hour and a half.
Every Aussie home is different, so everyone's facing their own pressure points.
Some days we're able to focus really closely on homeschooling, other days we have to prioritise our work.
Well, you're on a Zoom conference and they're screaming at you in the background saying, Mum, I can't read this word.
Our daughter finds it really hard to focus for any length of time on work. There's so many distractions in the home in the form of TVs or iPads or toys.
But you can still get creative with the curriculum.
If Mummy eats this one, what's this? 3/4. 3/4. If Mummy eats this one, what's this?
Everything you do at home doesn't have to be completely related to the curriculum.
So just how many hours a day should kids be spending learning from home?
For younger children, we should expect them to spend no more than 2.5 hours a day. As they get a little bit older, 8, 9, 10, that can increase to 3 or 4 hours. By the time we get to the older students in years 11 and 12, really they should be mirroring a normal day at school.
While it differs state to state, with some kids facing a staggered start to the term, chances are there'll be some homeschooling for a while yet.
It's tricky, we're not teachers. Some of the coursework is beyond us. Our daughter's 7 and in year 2. but we give it a red hot go.
It's really important that parents remember that they are parents, they're not teachers. And when we get to the end of this and children go back to school, although things will be different, teachers will be able to continue with the teaching, they'll be able to plug the gaps, catch children up where necessary and continue on with their learning.
And boy, will we all be grateful to see those teachers again.
How do they do it day in, day out? With a smile on their face.
Hear, hear. Education expert and former principal Adam Voigt joins us now to chat about it. Adam, we've just heard there from a bunch of overwhelmed parents for a range of different reasons. If this term ends up being a bit of a write-off for a lot of kids, is that okay?
Well, it might not be okay, but it's certainly not the end of the world. I think that some of the catastrophic language that we've had around this, like our kids' whole educations are at stake, is a little bit, well, a lot over the top. This is a really small sliver of a 13-year education, and kids have their educations interrupted by broken ankles, by holidays to Bali all the time, and they get through without a tattoo ending up on their forehead that says stupid at the end of it. They'll be fine, and we need to take perhaps a bit of a collective national chill pill about the impact of this interruption on their education.
You take that back, Adam. A holiday to Bali is an education, my friend.
You learn certain things that you just can't unlearn. That's true sometimes.
And you come back with a Bintang t-shirt, maybe, and perhaps a tattoo.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Art. It's art.
Yeah. No word on where that tattoo is. One thing this has, though, exposed is the difference between rich and poor, basically, and especially public and private. So you have under-resourced public schools not being able to do things like Zoom classes, and they're just, you know, issuing worksheets and hoping students can kind of keep up. The private schools are out there running Zoom classes every day. What ultimately do you think should and could be done about that divide?
Well, I think this is what this has done undoubtedly is to put a magnifying glass on the inequity that's in our education system. And if all we do is allow that to be magnified at this time and then measure the kids by the same tests at the end of the year, then all we're really going to find out is who had the most advantages. But I think it's actually time that we just paid a little bit of respect to what some of those schools who do cater for kids who need education more than anybody, what they've done. The work they've done to make sure that those kids have got laptops, the schools that have sent their school bus around in the morning delivering paper and pen resources so that their kids can keep learning. The ways that they've kept them connected and looked after their mental health has been quite remarkable. And I think in the end that's going to be more important than how many worksheets they were able to access on a Moodle platform.
Adam, what about this idea in New South Wales of staggering the return of students where, dependent upon what your letter your name starts with is the day of the week you go back? Are you a supporter of that idea?
I'm not supporter of a formula that has schools trying to randomly work out which kids up to which letter of the alphabet are going to be coming back at a certain time and staggering lunchtimes and staggering recesses and getting Year 12 PE teachers to teach Year 7 history just because there were kids A to E there on that day. I think that a smarter way would be to have our kids come back by year level. So I think that we could start, for instance, we could treat it like a bit of a bridge. We could have our Year 12s come back first in our secondaries. We could have our preps come back in our primaries and slowly work our way back through. It would give teachers a little more certainty about when they're going to be getting their kids, about how they're going to be teaching their kids, and what combo they're going to have of in-person versus at home or online learning that they need to cater for.
And before we let you go, how are the teachers coping with the remote learning?
Yeah, I am just so proud of our teaching workforce. They have totally reimagined what our educative offer should be in a short space of time. And they've not only done it in terms of keeping academic learning going, but in looking after the well-being of our kids. I think that some of the conversations that have happened over the last few days where there's been some insinuations by politicians that these teachers don't want to be back at work, they do. They're amazing people. I've been gobsmacked by what they've done, and they will help our kids again when the time comes to get them all back into classrooms.
I remember seeing a quote at the beginning of this, Adam, which I think is just no truer than it is today, that said, now we're all discovering that the teacher was never the problem.
I think that I saw a couple of fantastic little internet memes of cars pulling up outside schools and hurling kids into the school without slowing down. I think there's a bit of that coming, and the truth is that teachers are actually going to be okay with that too. They want them back too. They miss them.
Well, Adam, you're amazing. It's a shame you just can't come around and teach all of our kids, because I'm sure you're doing an amazing job at the moment. Very envious. Thank you for your wise words tonight.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Right, it's time for a break now. Stay right there. See you on the other side.
Coming up, ready or not, America is reopening as several states set to relax coronavirus restrictions. But is it really the wisest move? And get ready to laugh. Pete's Life in Lockdown is on the way. You're watching The Project.
It's MasterChef.
This is next level.
Like you've never seen before.
Your dream home can slip through your fingers without the right plan. But with home loan know-how from your local Rams home loan specialist, we'll help you take the right steps to make your dream home possible. Walk like a Ram and talk to us today. Rams, greater together.
Introducing BP Rewards. Now you can earn points with every BP purchase.
BP Rewards.
Use BP points to spend in store.
BP Rewards.
Or get dollars off fuel.
BP Rewards. BP Rewards.
Or you can choose to earn Qantas points.
Now that's what I call BP Rewards.
Totally BP Rewards.
Start earning today. BP Rewards. Your rewards, your way.
Busy kids have energy to burn. If you want to be sure they're getting the nutrients they need to grow and thrive, shake it up with Pediasure. A delicious Pediasure health shake contains 28 essential vitamins and minerals, plus protein, pre and probiotic and omega-3, which may help support growth, immunity and a healthy appetite. Make it, shake it, love it. Kids thrive with Pediasure.
Well, hello. Welcome to this planet. Let's get started with a quick tour.
There's a lot of land on Earth.
The sea has creatures of all shapes and sizes.
There's also the sky.